Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Project Bring Me to Life podcast. My name is Suleiman, and today we're going to be having a really awesome show. But before we say anything about that, I would like to go over to Ashton Robertson with our guided meditation for today.
Hello. I actually drew a card today to help out with the meditation. The card I drew is a fairy card called Awakening Your True Self. But I want to start the meditation before I start to describe it, so just simply close your eyes, relax your body, your mind. Simply allow yourself to be breathed through. Don't try to control your breath today. We're just going to allow it to take control of us. We're just going to allow everything that we feel to come to the surface, be released, felt, and integrated. You're beginning to recover your natural identity, including your old sense of humor, interests, passions, and desires. Trust that any confusion or changes you're currently experiencing are part of the helpful evolution. As if a cloud has been lifted from your mind and heart, you're beginning to see life from the perspective of your old self. You just went through a period where you gave up who you are to please another person. You buried your interest, ignored your friends, and tried to fit into another person's lifestyle. Now your old self is emerging. You're back. As you recover your authentic self, your life and your personality are going through big changes. Hold tight and allow these changes to occur. Allow is the key word. Ask you to trust the parts of your life and personality that are falling away, are inauthentic and false. Know that you're building a solid foundation of truth, and everything is working out perfectly right now. And if you want to repeat this little affirmation to yourself in your own head, you can say, I now give myself permission to be true to myself. And so follow your highest joys. And that might just be, coming to the podcast every Tuesday. So welcome. Thanks.
I need a link to the current feed because nobody came up to say.
Oh, shoot. Anyway, well, thanks everybody for joining the Project Bring Me to Life podcast. We've been having a lot of technical difficulties with computers and also our own physical body circuitry, and you've probably been going through a lot of shit because, excuse my language, but we all have too, and we're going through that right now together, and so that's why it's very important for us to meditate and to open ourselves up, because this life can get very difficult and very stressful, and I feel a lot of pain and anger, which I've been talking to a lot of people who are going through releasing that pain and releasing those blockages, everything that's and what's happened right now, I just want to fill everybody in. Yeah, I know. What happened is on the website we do have a viewing room with a live chat room in it, and what happens is for that to work, I need a Google link, and I have to upload that video on the website. So I didn't do that because I was in basically panic mode. And so I'm working on getting that video up so everybody can see, so we can introduce the guest. But I guess right now I'll just go ahead and say that the featured writer for today is Kate Hill. The featured music is Synapse. The featured artist is David Diamondheart. The featured guide is actually our guest, which is Laine Laroche. Did I say that right, Laine?
Laine Laroche.
Laine Laroche.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. Always, the sponsor is Shine Time Studios. and that's where we're coming to you live from. And the featured supporter is Cord Blaze, because he's been talking to a lot of people for us and just spreading the word of what we're trying to do, what we are doing. But so he's a featured supporter. And once I get this up and working, which should be in about 2 minutes, then we'll go ahead and introduce the guest and get everybody filled in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the website, and then you're going to have to tell everybody to refresh the page.
Okay. I tried to get the one back.
It's okay. And that is in 5 seconds. I'm doing that really quickly, but again, it's been the energy's been ridiculous, and I apologize for that, both to my guests and the audience and everybody else.
Do you feel like everything's going really quickly?
Yeah.
Acceleration times a lot.
Okay.
I get that.
Okay.
Nice.
Tell everybody to refresh, and then we should be back. Again, apologies to. Sorry, Laine.
No problem.
But I've been so
It's all
stressed.
going as it should.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the correct link up, and once we get a confirmation from the chat room that they can see us, I'll go ahead and begin.
You also have the
I don't care about that right now. Thank you for letting me know. But can anybody? Is everybody watching now? Is it working?
They said, all good.
Okay. Thank you.
You're all good, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I do apologize, but I'm sure, as you all can understand, a lot has been going on with me, and I mean with the whole collective. But we're in this together, and we're here together now. And welcome to the podcast. We're gonna go ahead and introduce our guest. I called her a life purpose coach, and I hope that's okay. Laine Laroche. Laine Laroche helps people find and live their life's purpose. She used to be a hitchhiker and a train hopper. Now she's a Silicon Valley executive, as she calls it. So, Laine Laroche, welcome to the Project Dream Your Life podcast, and thank you for being on.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good. So, the word that I use, life purpose coach, is that something that you would say is okay to call you?
Sure. I think that that's okay. I help people in business and in life design, so anything that's purposeful in their life, I can help them with that.
And so, what clicked in your mind from being a train hopper, from wanting to go to a train hopper and a hitchhiker, to helping people find their life purpose?
Great. So when I started traveling, I really just wanted to see what the world was about and understand for myself what was really out there. There's a lot of stories about how scary things can be and how dangerous people are, and I really wanted to see for myself if that was true. And what I found is that the world is a lot more magical and a lot less scary than people make it out to be. And people all over the place are looking for the same things. And that is to be listened to and understood and loved and live in a way that's purposeful, where they feel like they're spending their time in something they believe in. And I found that a lot of people weren't doing that and didn't know how, even if they knew what they wanted to be doing and what they found purposeful, they didn't know how to make it happen. So when I stopped traveling, initially it was really difficult for me. I was depressed and angry. I didn't know how to make the jump from this absolute 4.5 years of just flow and following where life took me in every single way possible to this structured society, and I didn't know how to integrate myself with that at all. It was really, really scary. So I ended up thinking, okay, I just have to figure out how I can make a living and have some money and some capital to put towards living in a place that I'm comfortable and I can live truly being myself. So that's really what started me on the path to entrepreneurship. It's the only way you can really live a free life, in my opinion. You know, when you're working for someone else and working for a paycheck rather than your passions in life, you know, that can really be a drain. So I found this world of startup and creating the life you want, lifestyle and business design, and it really touched me, and I really wanted to, after starting a few businesses of my own, I really wanted to help other people gain the freedom that enables you to have.
Mm-hmm. And just the story that you have being a hitchhiker to like somebody who helps out with businesses and finding life purpose it's very unique story, and I'm sure everybody else agrees with me when I say that I love hearing about it because it's so interesting. Do you find a common trait among the people who come to you, like when they're wondering what their purpose is? Is there something that always comes out?
When they're wondering what their purpose is, when they're seeking purpose?
Yeah, is there like some key to opening that door for them?
I think that a lot of people that I work with personally really find that they are in touch with their purpose after exploring what that really is. You know, I think that purpose isn't something that you just have and it's the same thing for your whole lifetime. Rather, it's something you develop and something that grows from your life experience. You know, I view my purpose as empowering people to find freedom in their lives, and that was developed over a period of time, over years. So, you know, each person has their own sets of strengths that they've gained through their lifetime, and when you combine those things along with something where you are helping the world, that can really give people the sense of purpose that they're looking for in their lives. You know, if you look at your strengths, if you're a good teacher, if you're a wonderful guide, and then you are also really passionate about yoga and health, combining those in a way where you're helping the world and helping others, and using that to be your motivator, and being intrinsically motivated with stuff from within you rather than extrinsically motivated by money or things that are outside of yourself. People are happier, they live longer lives, they find better relationships, it's a huge thing to be able to work from that place. So connecting with your sense of purpose can be, when you look at your strengths and your skill sets, just take a minute to look at, everyone has 10 or so main strengths that they've really developed over their lifetime, and then can you combine those in a way where you're helping in a cause that is true to your heart? Maybe you had a difficult experience in your life. Maybe you were there to support someone during a really difficult time, and now that specific cause really plays to your heart, and you can use your skills to help the world with that particular cause.
So when people are looking for that purpose, say they find you and they come to you and ask, I need help finding my purpose, and I need help with this project. What happens after that?
Right. Well, there's a lot of stuff to do when it comes to creating something that's sustainable and holistic. So if someone comes to me and they say, my purpose is to bring water to the city of Detroit. I'm living in Detroit right now, so that's a big issue. And they want to create a nonprofit that works for this issue, and they have their specific ideas. What I would really focus on first and foremost is their actual lifestyle design. If they've created for themselves a life that is conducive to their success and that is really going to support them. If you work to create a life where you are supported, where you are surrounded by people who encourage you, that understand that you are fully capable of creating anything you want in this life, absolutely anything, and all the knowledge is out there just as much as it is for anyone else, especially with the tools we have today. Purposefully design your life and surround yourself with people that encourage you. If somebody doesn't encourage you, don't spend a lot of time with that person. If you have a strong core circle of people that understand that you are capable, you will be stronger so that you can help the people that might not understand that yet. So really develop habits for that strong mindset. And there's a lot of things that you can do. After that, I would focus on strategy. Start thinking like a strategist. So take your big vision, and entrepreneurs have this. They have these grand visions, like they want to do big things, and that's wonderful. It's all possible. But start thinking like a strategist. Break it down from year to month to week to day to even hour, and really start measuring your habits. Start measuring your success in meeting those goals, because that's really something that is going to be the greatest struggle for visionary people. It's very important to have that vision in place, because when you stumble and you fail, which you will, absolutely, as an entrepreneur, a lot, it's a minefield, and you should fail, and I encourage it absolutely every day. Just go out and fail and laugh about it and fall on your butt and come back and try again the next day. So that's why that vision is so important, because you need to be able to look at that when you fall, and you need to have that purpose in what you're doing to know that you are making a difference so that you can get back up again. But don't let that get in the way of really thinking like a strategist and breaking it down so that you can look at your week and know what you're going to do. If you want to create this huge thing that's going to benefit thousands of people, and it's going to be a huge space and have all of these moving parts and all of these gears turning, you have to know how you're going to build each one, each gear, each little piece. So that's going to really help in understanding why you do what you do every day. So that's where I would start.
Really good.
So good.
Would you say that finding, if somebody wanted to find their purpose, is that something separate that you do from helping entrepreneurs and small businesses?
Well, it's all connected. If someone was coming to me to just find purpose, we would be doing different exercises as an individual finding purpose than I would do with a business that is finding out how to integrate their purpose. So that would be the difference. As an individual, someone would come and want to do exercises to find out what their purpose is, how to develop purpose in their life, which is essentially about developing their character. And then with a business, it's similar, but they're going to be saying, this is our purpose as a business, this is our mission, this is what we're here to do. Now, how do we integrate that into all these different aspects of our business? How do we get our team speaking in a way that's in touch with our purpose and our core values? How do we integrate that in every part of what we do?
It's really important to find a team of people that can work together towards the same purpose too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I got lost in your words, but I know it's pretty important to, at least myself, to have that clear purpose and to have that clear mission, because without it, I mean, I do enjoy going out and having fun, but I think it's important to have that purpose and keep yourself motivated and walking that path towards that specific purpose. And sometimes it's really easy for me to get lost. So would you have any advice for getting back onto that mission, or for remembering your purpose and keeping motivated to do that?
Sure. First, it would be to be gentle with yourself when you get off track. That's going to happen. And then you're just creating those habits. So, for instance, one of my favorite productivity tips is to not check email for the first 3 hours of your day, and not go on the phone or essentially do any work that involves speaking or interacting with another person. And that's extremely important if we're talking about working from your core and working from your sense of purpose in what you do, because how are you going to stay in touch with your core if you wake up and the first thing you do is go into what someone else needs from you or wants from you, or what their goals for the day are? So that's really important. And when you get up, even just making a list of just 2 or 3 things that you want to accomplish in the day. Most people make a list of 10 to 15 things they want to accomplish each day, and the reality is you'll probably get about 3 of those things done if they're major tasks. the most productive thing you can do is to do those tasks that are just for you and within your direction of purpose, and do those three things within that period of time before you start talking with other people and start being distracted from your path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that's very important, especially with the energies that have been going on for the past little while. It's
protect your energy. Yeah, it's super important.
Yeah. So I have my organite here. But it is sometimes it's easy to get lost in other people's energies, and sometimes the other people don't intend for that to happen. But just being here on Earth, being an Earth being, an Earth dweller is very difficult because all these lower energies can be experienced, and separation can be given a definition within our own minds. So to experience that is very difficult at times. And keeping that life mission, that divine life purpose, is very important. And well, Project Bring Me Life is here to just make that wake up call, to be like, just wake up to why you're here on Earth. Question why you're here on Earth. Question what your purpose is, and so we have Laine here to help if you need help finding that purpose. Laine Laroche, one of the guides featured on Project Bring Me Life. So, is there any other tips that you would give people who are still trying to look for that purpose?
Yeah. So I think that one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to excuse me, is to allow yourself the space to feel your own self. So that 3 hours in the morning could really help. Also, just really giving yourself the space to connect to your core and operate from that place in what you do. And that is going to involve, when you talk about it being difficult to interact with lower energies, or sometimes people can get you off track without even knowing that that's what they're doing. The way that you can stay in touch with yourself in the face of that is really by setting boundaries when it comes to the space that you need to get in touch with your purpose, and to give yourself the space that you need to do the projects that are in touch with your purpose and in touch with how you want to impact the world. We're here, and we have each day to make a positive impact on the world, and you're going to feel really good about yourself if you protect your space to do that. So understanding really that what your needs are, and really being analytical about, okay, I'm not going to take phone calls for the first 3 hours, and communicating that to people in a respectful way and learning how to set boundaries is going to be a really, really wonderful thing for any type of purpose work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have about another minute or two until we go to space weather. So what do you do personally to get into your own space and to protect that space so you can reconnect with your core?
Sure. I really like silent meditation, and I also practice silence. So anytime I am in a situation where I can sense that my body feels anxious or uncomfortable or weak or shaky, I allow myself the space, even when I'm in a situation where I can't remove myself from the conversation or I don't feel that I can, I allow myself the space to really get back in touch with my core, relax my body, take a breath, and I give myself silence before feeling like I need to speak, because you never need to do anything. So just remembering that and giving yourself time.
It's very beautiful. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So for space weather, Shannon, do you want to go ahead and do the moon update first? Okay, we're going to go over to Ashton with his energy forecast. Yeah. Want me to mute mine?
Okay. So for the energy forecast of right now, we got a full moon on Saturday. We just, well, today's the second day of December, so we're really closing in into the end of the year. We're all starting to reflect on what we've been through really the last 4 to 5 years. I think it's really been like this huge 4-year cycle that's coming to a close for a lot of people. But you're really coming from this place where we've had all these ideas, all this inspiration to put us on the path towards, potentially something like entrepreneurship or just finding your purpose in general that can, allow you to have more money, which is not helpful. And especially when you're a spiritual person, you want to help everyone, and a lot of spiritual people don't have a lot of money. So it's time to break that trend and allow the flood of abundance that wants to come to us to enter into our life just by kind of tapping in to those ideas. A lot of times when we ask for guidance, we'll get guidance as inspiration, well, the ideas. Like your guides are talking to you through your ideas. So follow the ideas that you have, follow that passion, and something else that's coming up is there's been a lot of energy around like romantic partners and your own sexuality and coming into your own sexual energy in an integrated, balanced way. Putting up those boundaries, saying no when you feel like saying no, and not always saying yes to everything because you're a people pleaser or whatever. It's good to kind of what Laine was saying, just protect your own energy. Don't make sure you're serving from your overflow. You can always get in touch with your body to check in to see if you're feeling shaky and dehydrated and like you've had too much stimulation. Things like silent meditation really, really do help. Hanging out with someone you really do love gives you that space. But looking forward, it's going to be all about creating through your network and creating that web to allow you to access the things that you really want to dive into. And as you look into yourself and feel all of those passions, the more you allow those things to come into your life rather than forcefully. I mean, obviously work as hard as you can, as much as you can, but don't overwork yourself. But sometimes it's more about our belief patterns as to why things don't happen, as to not so much as the things that we're doing. We need to get in touch with the belief patterns inside of ourselves to even allow any of that stuff to happen, because it won't happen unless you believe it. And the more you believe it, the faster it'll come. So keep reflecting and redefining and just making your belief patterns more solid and defined and structured. It's a good way to ground yourself, especially here in space. So that's all I got.
Sweet. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Should I unmute myself?
Yeah.
Alright, and now we're going to go over to Shantastic with the Lunar Moon update.
Into your mic.
Unless if you want to type in yours.
Unmute.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For the full moon, the moon in general, I actually have that we're at an 87% full waxing gibbous. However, I should clarify for us that we do have a full moon this Saturday. So remember to place your crystals outside for proper energy cleansing. It's also said that you should do this for 3 days before and after. Just be careful with the weather getting kind of moist and cold outside. A lot of crystals don't like being too wet because it will help dissolve some of their energy. And some of them will actually crack if they're too cold. So while needing to put your crystals in the full moonlight, just be very careful to look into your favorite crystals' proper care. Also with the full moon, it's for December 6th, it's called the cold moon or the open moon. It is the opposite sign of the Gemini, and it's the perfect time to enhance your communication skills. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to talk to everybody. It's kind of going along with what Ashton's saying and what Laine's trying to speak about how you should carefully choose who you're communicating with and sharing your energy with, because right now is a good time to prepare for the new year and just renew old contacts and new contacts. And face-to-face meetings are often important at this time because it's starting to get cold and people are going to start hibernating. And it's really time for people just to dehermitify themselves, pretty much, if that's even a word. It is now. But while letting things go and releasing for the winter changes, it's also to be mindful, like, who you're closely bonded with, because their feelings are going to strongly affect you. Because with the weather being cold outside, at least where we're currently located, we often have to keep closer to just the people that we love in general, or that we've chosen to spend that daily time with, and it can be rough if somebody's feeling down and you're trying to stay up. So just understand what other people are going through, and sometimes it's a good time to just release all of your old habits. And since the full moon's coming, it's a good time for like rituals and purging. And one of the full moon rituals for the cold moon is often said to write down all of what you know about communicating with others, or how you communicate with others, and to just go through it and just look through what you may want to change or what could improve, because this could help you find your life's purpose and help you move forward into 2015. And just sometimes it's easier said than done to sit down and look at what your problems are, but towards the end of the year, it's a good time to do that. And the full moon's here to shed light onto all of the things that have been pretty much hiding out all year. And it's also a good idea to light a yellow or blue candle, because this helps with your throat chakra or your sacral chakra, and it just represents communication and confidence skills and will help flame those better. So pretty much it's just the time to enhance communication, but at the same time learn how to communicate better. And the full moon helps with that, because the energy that's reflecting from the sun is there to help you grow, just like it helps the trees and all the plants grow. And that's all I have to say.
Sweet. Awesome. So thank you, Shantastic. I am here with... Hang on one sec. I'm going to do a solar flare update for you guys and talk a little bit about what is going on with the sun in contrast to Shantastic's lunar moon update. And so I wanted to start off this one with the alignment of the planets, just because I feel like there's significance to that. As you can see from this chart, right now Jupiter is in Cancer, about to go into Leo. Saturn right now is in Sagittarius. Mercury is in Aquarius. Neptune, Mars, and Venus are all in Pisces. Uranus is in Aries. And so Venus, Mars, and Uranus are almost aligned with the Earth right now. And if I ever learn more about astrology, I would let you know what that means. But I just want to talk a little bit about the alignment of the planets. And yeah, like Shannon said, at least we're honest. But here, this is the little movie that I have for you. Little sun action. This is the week from last Wednesday. And so you can see there's quite a bit of activity with the sun, but there's nothing that's really too big since last week.
It's pretty.
It is pretty. And there's two planets about to cross and align with the sun. But there has been no major solar flares, no major CMEs, nothing rated above an M1. And
For the past week?
For the past week, nothing's
I feel
been...
like my physical body's been feeling better in the last week, honestly.
Yeah. So there's not too many disturbances of our energetic fields coming from the sun, and it's right now it's at a little bit of a minimum. So expect the energy to start ramping up again and getting a little busy. It'd be a good time to just get rid of old habits and bring in the new habits, because your mind's going to be pretty active coming up here soon. So with that, we have one more segment, and that's the reading with Shen. And we're going to do the reading, and then we're going to take questions from the audience. So if you do have any questions, you can email them at bringmetolifeproject@gmail.com. Or if you are in the live chat, we have people in the live chat that will see your questions, and you will have a chance to join the podcast and speak with our guests. So with that being said, I'm going to switch my window to this. And you're going to have to turn your head sideways.
Oh, that's hard. You can just put it on me if you want.
Okay.
I'll hold on.
Do you want me to mute myself?
Hi guys. Since I don't have my card picture up today, I will just pull my pictures up for you. The first card was actually the whole reading pretty much confirms a lot of what the solar forecast and, well, the whole weather forecast, space weather forecast, and meditation and everything were about. It pretty much explains that we've had a lot of isolation this week. The first card was the feeling alone card, and it says that we're just, as we're moving quickly into the winter holidays, fall's pretty much come and gone with Thanksgiving and Halloween, and all of those holidays are just gone, and now we're going into the Christmas holidays, and it seems that we're all starting to feel this overwhelming sense of like aloneness in the world. And it's not necessarily true, because we're surrounded by people, all of which love us. We feel this alone energy because a lot of people just start to isolate themselves. And just know that you're never really alone in the world, because even in silence, Source and Spirit and the Archangels are always near our side to provide us with love and attention, and we just have to simply open our eyes and our hearts to accept the patience, or the presence in our lives, and the patience that it takes to sometimes understand their messages, because a lot of us like to just push them off, and that we need to just realize we're not alone. It shows a woman about to take off into what seems like a dark, long journey. However, she's following the moonlight, which always seems to just guide her into the right direction. And we all have a tendency to think no one understands our needs or even cares about us, but it's not true, because our insecurities are just arising to the surface to be dealt with so that we can just move forward into more enjoyable times. So we're just kind of reflecting on everything that we've gone through for the year, which moves us on to dedicated effort, which was the second card. Sorry that you're getting a little bit of reflection on it. But dedicated effort appears to remind us that the Source has gifted us and each of us with our divine gifts, which I thought was very ironic. Not really ironic, but just very meaningful, I guess is a way better word. That it appeared when we were doing a podcast on life purpose, because it takes a lot of dedicated effort to move forward with that. And Laine mentioned that she had some issues kind of conforming to normal life in the system, and that's why she went along pushing others to do their life purpose. And I think that's important, and that takes a lot of dedicated effort. And when we follow the gifts that the divine has placed within each of us, we're honoring our divine paths, which can potentially create a heaven-like earth that we'd be able to play out so effortlessly and just enjoy rather than having to work so hard at the same time. Because when you're dedicated to something, it almost doesn't feel like work because you just love it. So just try to always stay focused on improving your skills that you know you were gifted with. And also just try to live life and enjoy even the hard times, which brings us to the last card, which is find balance. Finding balance, again, at this time of the holiday festivities is really hard for us. Between work and school and children and other relationships in our lives, just basic chores versus alone time, it's like super hectic to find time to do everything. And the collective consciousness really needs to calm down rather than get all riled up this season, because we're rushing our days away and worrying about what's the next big thing to give someone or do for something. And really we need to just be relaxing and instead focus on what we want to be doing with pretty much all of our lives as a whole, so that we can all move forward and not keep repeating this cycle. So let what needs to be done come to you as you find balance within yourself to continue to grow into the new year, as it's already uncontrollably and quickly approaching. Just be grateful that you have so many things to balance in your life, and that you are important and needed, and stop feeling so alone. If you're feeling a lack of this importance, it is time to meditate. Maybe even contact Laine so that you can find that life's purpose and find what it is in the world that will make you feel more accepted and loved and not alone. So build yourself up and don't be afraid of what you're hiding inside. And there is enough love in the world to go around and balance it all out happily. And that's all I would have.
Beautiful. So that was the space weather for the week of December 2nd, 2014. And if we did have anybody that wanted to come on and ask our guest, Laine Laroche, a few questions, you can, if you're in the chat room, go ahead and say that you'd like to join. Or if you just have a question, go ahead and post your question on the chat room.
I have one.
And we do have one.
It's from Samantha.
Okay.
Samantha says, and I actually wanted to ask this, but kind of went too quick. What would you say was the biggest lesson you learned during your time as a traveler, hitchhiker, train hopper?
That's a good question.
I think you're muted, Laine. Or
I think you have her muted.
oh, no, I don't. Nope.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, yeah, my voice. I mean, I
There you go.
turned the sound off, so.
None of us can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
Tense, what was your biggest lesson that you learned?
That's a good question. I was actually asked this the first time that I was interviewed for a major work opportunity with a startup, and this was a startup who went through an accelerator program in Silicon Valley called Y Combinator, which is a wonderful accelerator. If you're interested in anything startup, definitely go to their website. They have a class right now that they're putting on air for free of charge that's advice from some of the best startup people in the world. And maybe I can find the link and post it there for you if you guys are interested. Anyway, I was interviewed for a position where I spent 4 months advising the CEO and the CFO and all of the COO names in how to create a business model and a systems for customer service and sales, and support, how to support people with their business. And they asked me the same question, and I think that I had never thought about it until they asked me in this interview, like 2 years after I had stopped traveling. And I think that the biggest lesson that I learned when I was traveling in that way, I really think I learned two big lessons. And the first is that if you allow it to, the universe will take care of you completely and utterly, and you don't have to do a thing. Just turn your brain off and follow it. That's all you have to do. And I remember this one time it was raining out, and I had holes in my boots, and I didn't, my feet were so wet, and I was hungry, and I remember thinking, all I want is some fried chicken and a pair of boots. Like, that's all I wanted at the time. And we stopped in the next town, and we went dumpster diving, and I found in the dumpster a pair of socks and two pairs of boots, one which was my size. And the next day we walked past this fried chicken place that had this like unopened box of fried chicken on a picnic table out front that was untouched. So like you just don't have to try, and you don't have to think, and we work so much on trusting people in our relationships and trusting ourselves. Just trust that everything is okay and breathe and enjoy it, And the second thing that I learned is that everyone in the world, every single person in the world, believes that they are doing good. Whether or not they are really doing good for other people, or doing good in the sense that they are doing the right thing, or if they're, it's getting really philosophical, but everyone wants to do good. Everyone wants to do good. So if someone maybe is off track with that, you can really have an impact on them by speaking to their heart and really trying to speak to their core and that core place where everyone really wants to be doing some good in the world. So those are the two things that I learned.
Any other questions? Anybody that wants to join? Does anybody want to join?
I haven't gotten it yet.
If you'd like to join the podcast and speak with Laine, kind of technically, now's your chance to do that. So let us know in the chat room if you'd like to do that. If not, we do have a few more segments. Anybody say anything on the chat room?
They're still talking about the fairies and how awesome it is that she got fried chicken.
Fried chicken fairies? Yeah.
They're all like, man, those fairies put that box of fried chicken there for you.
And one time I was homeless while staying with a friend, but I kind of stayed out really late, and I didn't get back in time, and I got locked out of the house, and I had no money, and I didn't know what to do, so I was just on the porch, and I just was like, well, it was like 7 in the morning, and the sun was coming out, I had no idea what to do, and I was just like cold and frustrated, and I just kind of like let go and embrace it, and I walked around the corner, and there was an entire burrito wrapped in aluminum foil, just sitting on the ground, and it just said vegetarian. And I was like, oh god, like an entire burrito. And it was just like made for me. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. the worst will conspire, and so. That's such a story.
That's crazy.
There's another question, but everyone now is screaming burrito. Yes. Ree's question is, how do you stay so grounded, though?
How do I stay so grounded? Well, you know, I have times where I, you know, float up into the ether and get lost in my visions and grand ideas for sure. I really view my role working with people as sort of reaching up into their visions and pulling down what can be grounded at the moment, and then working with that until we can pull something else down. So that's really how I view it, and I really have developed a sense of understanding my personal truth and the value of that and importance of that in my life. And so I guess staying grounded for me is really a practice of finding a place in my body that is the stillest and calmest, and understanding that if one feeling seems to be overwhelming the rest of them at the moment, I really do understand that even if I feel anxiety or nervousness or anger or fear, that might be trying to overtake me in the moment. But I also understand that every other feeling that ever existed for me is also available at that time. So it's really about stepping back from those and reaching that space of inner calm again, and operating from that zone, and interacting with the world from that place, because that's truly who you are as a person. And why spend your life not being in that space? Because otherwise you're at the whim of the world. So you can't contribute as much when you're not there. And so I think it's a mixture of principles and practice, and I think that's how I stay grounded.
Good. Any other questions from the chat?
Yeah.
What was it like living in Silicon Valley?
So I didn't actually live in Silicon Valley. I think that I worded the profile in an odd way. So where that came from is I've worked with a lot of startups, and some of them have been graduates of some of the greatest accelerators in the world, and the most well-known accelerators in the world at this time. You know, Y Combinator brought us Dropbox and Reddit and some really amazing startups. So that accelerator is located in Silicon Valley. So it would be a Silicon Valley accelerator, and I've worked with startups that have graduated from that. So it's more to say that it would be like working with startups that were trained in Silicon Valley. They have the same mindset and the same training and the same skills, and it's amazing what's out there today. The stuff that people are using to get stuff done with teams and to create business models that require so many less people or no people at all, and the way that people can be efficient and work so freely all over the world. You know, I just flew in from Florida last night. I was offered to go down there and spend some time in the sun, and like luckily I could, because I have the ability to make that decision, because I can work wherever I want. So that's part of why I have chosen to work with people who are starting their own businesses for themselves, to create that freedom as entrepreneurs, because that top level training that's available to Silicon Valley startups can really, really give you a lot of freedom in your work and in your life. And what was it like working with Silicon Valley startups? It's really ego driven. It's really, really it's really ego driven, and there's a lot of masculine energy, and you really have to be able to speak quickly and stand your ground and speak your truth, and have a bit of a tough attitude, and it drains you after a while. I mean, it drained me anyway, and I know it drains the people that I worked with. I see it in their faces, and you know, that a lot of them are really killing themselves over making this money and getting these $1 million of funding, and they're really not working in a way that is conducive to a healthy life, or a business model that really creates freedom for themselves. So they've really gone from this situation where you know, we're working for corporate jobs, and we're you know, working for the man or whatever, and then they're going and they're building a startup where they're just as much a slave as their parents were for an auto company or whatever. So I thought it was super hypocritical, and I didn't like it, and the punk in me was like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. I'm gonna show everybody what you're doing, and help other people use this stuff. So that's really what I thought about the startup world. They have a lot of really good information though, and a lot of ways on how to be efficient. So if you can take their models of their business models and the way that they automate tasks in order to give yourself more freedom and more time, and then use those to build a business that's much more human friendly, and that's much more holistic thinking, where you're looking at your business as like an ecosystem, or the human body, you know, body, mind, soul. You need to take care of all the parts and really nurture them. So that's the kind of that's what I saw was missing in their approach, and so that's what I've infused into how the businesses that I work with.
We have time for one more question. There's another question. Okay. Well, now we're going to move on to the I Must Ask You question segment.
Yes.
So, Laine, do you know how to use Google Effects?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm looking at the screen.
Left
Oh, I
sidebar.
see the button.
Yeah, just click on that, and then there'll be a section with a beard and some mustaches. And we're all going to choose one. Yep.
Oh,
There you go.
like this one.
You have a totally different vibe about you.
How do I get?
And I don't have a beard anymore, so.
You don't. Every time she sees you, you probably look completely different.
Nice.
Okay. You get yours? We all have the same mustache. Mustache.
Mustache.
Okay.
So I need a mustache for this?
Technically, yeah, but we're not going to gripe.
Yours is pretty great.
I'm a rebel. I get it.
Okay. Have it your way. Uh, so, in this segment, what we do is basically we each get a chance to ask anybody anything, and usually we'll start it off by saying, "I must ask you a question," and then directing it at somebody and asking. Um, so I believe I can go first, and this will be for everybody in the podcast, so all three of you. And I'd like to start with Ashton, and then Shannon, and then Laine last.
All right.
My question. I must ask you a question. When you are feeling blue, when you feel sad inside, and you have those blues, what is something that not necessarily will help you get through it, but just something that calms you down? What is one thing that calms you down during?
When I'm feeling blue, I like something that just calms me down. I think it's important to do the things that are you and that are healthy for you. For me, the first thing I always try to do is at least make sure I'm hydrated. Remember to focus on my breath. For me, music is like definitely the go-to. I'm like, ooh, here's a song that is sad, and now I feel great. But I think it's all about cultivating that inner space and not necessarily. I mean, I don't know if I like the word detached, but like creating this like lightness with your own thoughts and like what's happening around you. So not taking everything so seriously. So even your own thoughts, like you might be racing, and then it's like you don't have to listen to any of that. You can just feel the peace that you already are, and you can, even in the midst of the blue macaroni and cheese feelings, you can feel great.
I got the blues.
I think you should just make a commercial for Frosted Flakes and all kinds of things. I say I'm feeling great with the tiger. My turn to begin with that. I think I realized today that something that makes me feel better, other than painting, would be making messes. And that might be why my house is so messy. And why everybody around me gets really frustrated that my house is so messy. But sometimes I just like to mess things up, and being organized kind of frustrates me as much as I really need it. But yeah, I think making messes. I don't like breaking things because somebody suggested to break things, and then I understand that's making a bigger mess, but usually breaking things involves messes that you have to clean up because then they're broken. I just like making messes that are fun. No, for better.
Laine!
So what do I do when I'm blue? I really like to skateboard a lot. So I like to, when I'm blue, I like to do things that remind me that the world is silly, or that I'm free to do what I like. And so I like to skateboard, and I like to make conversations with strangers. So I'll go to like a coffee shop or the bus or something, and just start talking with people. And I pretty much interview them about their life and ask them what they're passionate about, or sometimes I'll help them find their purpose without them even knowing it. And yeah, just try and do something fun. And sometimes if the situation that I'm in is making me sad, I don't know if you have seen Wes Anderson movies, but I like to view life as like through that lens and remember how silly things are. People have different characters, and that's what makes it fun.
I love that.
Beautiful. So Ashton, if you wanted to go ahead with your question.
Oh man, question. What is one practical tip you could give someone to inspire them, or like find inspiration? What is a good tip for finding inspiration for you, Sela?
A good tip for finding inspiration.
Like Laine earlier mentioned intrinsic motivation, which I think is so powerful, because if what you're doing is motivated from the inside, then I find, like, for me, that's almost everything I do at this point is just intrinsically motivated. No one's telling me to do it. It's like becomes so empowering. So maybe I could ask, how do you find your intrinsic motivation?
Some things. When I'm looking at my ukulele, and part of me, the first part of me says, I'm busy and I don't have time for that. And then the other part of me just walks over and says, like, oh yeah, you want to tell me I can't do that right now? And I'll just pick it up, excuse me, and I'll start playing and just playing the ukulele from my heart and just feeling the music and singing about whatever is affecting me at that moment. It brings out that passion and just music. I think whatever comes out of me just sounds so beautiful, and that helps. So yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, thank you.
What about you guys? I don't know who should go first.
I wasn't thinking who said Sela. Just in general, do something to make yourself happy. It might seem selfish at first, but for everything you do for someone else, you should also do something that it's small to help yourself, and then you're helping not only someone else but yourself.
So true.
Beautiful.
I like that one. What do I do to get in touch with my intrinsic motivators?
Yeah.
I find out of all the intrinsic motivators, for me, the one that motivates me the most is autonomy. So, there's purpose, autonomy, and mastery are the main intrinsic motivators. And for me, autonomy really drives me. If I can do something that makes me feel as though I am capable of facing the world on my own, then that really motivates me. So I like to just get out and spend time on my own, and I think space for me is really key. And for my sense of purpose, sometimes I will go to startup sites like growthhacker.com and look at the cool stuff that people are making with open source tools and stuff like that. I'll like business geek out.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is amazing. Growthhacker.com.
It's awesome.
Nice. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I'll find those links for Y Combinator and Growth Hacker, and I'll put them in the chat here.
Beautiful. So, Shannon, did you want to say a question?
Let's go to the question. Okay, since we're all travelers, pretty much, where's someplace within the next year you want to travel or visit, and what's something you want to do there? Anywhere. If you could go anywhere. Whoever can go first, you can go in your circle. Do you have one, Laine?
Yeah, could you tell by my jumping up and down?
Yeah.
I love traveling. I well, I've never been to Portland, and I'm thinking about going to Portland to go to the Process Work Institute and take some classes there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Portland and watched Portlandia for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it was pretty funny. That's my
Yeah,
next.
we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to go there too. Never been.
I used to have an uncle who lived there. Where do you guys want to go?
I would like to go to Big Island in Hawaii, and there they had green sand. So I'd like to spend a week. First, I'll be on the sand, just enjoying the beach, the green beach, and then next I'll go up a little bit higher in the mountain and see the volcano because they have an active volcano, and you can see the magma, like fiery red earth, just like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I actually had a dream when I was traveling in tunnels underneath the Big Island. But next, I will go up even further where they have snowboarding because they have snow because the mountain is so big.
What?
And so, and so then I would like to go snowboarding. And after snowboarding, at the very top of the mountain, they have this huge telescope. And when it gets dark, I'd like to go up and just check out their telescope and check out all the stars and see the galaxies basically with like a naked eye instead of having to look at pictures. So that would be my most beautiful journey I would going to do.
That's so amazing. For me, I want to go to a lot of places next year. I'm moving to the West Coast. So I'm really excited to go to California and Oregon, Washington, and Canada. And I really want to go to Hawaii. It's a big reason why I'm going to Southern California. Super excited to go to Sedona in that area. But I really want to go to Europe next year, I think. I'd love that a lot. Europe or... yeah, I just want to travel the world. Let's say next year I'm going to go to like every country.
All 108.
I want to get a painting in every country. Right now I'm trying to get a painting in every state. I'm working on it.
A painting in every country? We're going to do that.
A painting in every country and a painting in every state. That is my current goal.
I'm going to make a song in it.
I've got almost, I think, 18 states. I could probably do it by the end of the year with enough people. Okay, that's the thing.
Yeah, if you'd like a painting, that's fantastic. Just go ahead and message me.
I'm
Working
I
on
need
it.
a state.
So, Laine, you haven't had your question yet.
I would like to know. I would like to know what each of you feel your purpose is at this time, and what brought you to that. If you feel like you're in touch with it right now.
Good question.
For a while, I felt like the purpose of life is to live a life of purpose. So for me, that means doing things that are not selfish, but fulfill my sense of self at the same time. So for like music, it makes me feel alive just personally. I know when I play live shows and people listen, it gives them a sense of awesome too. But for I don't know, like I feel like the greater purpose is just to love and to feel love and to be love and to spread love no matter what you're facing or what the people around you are going through. To always be that love that will Yes! Someone!
Mind if I go next?
That's all you.
Okay. So I feel my purpose here on the earth is to create a new world that is um, made out of fairness and equality, and just to open up those doors to growth and expansion, and connection with something higher. And I like to use multiple avenues to do that. The podcast is one of them. Music is another one. Art and literature. And that is the main reason why I really have a lot of people who are musicians and artists and literaries to be featured on the website, because I feel that all that stuff is what's going to lead us into the new world.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think I've been slightly struggling with my purpose a lot lately, because I really like to enjoy and share art, but it's been really hard to actually get that side of me out. I don't know if it's due to time or just like stress in general, but right now I feel like my purpose lately has been just to kind of like hold space and serve as like a rock or a serving point of just like witnessing others and motivating others. Um, like I like to think that I try to stay focused even if I seem slightly scattered, and by being able to remind others what they should help keep focused on. Maybe not necessarily finding their purpose, but just like once they found it, keep it going. Because I think it's important within waking up. Like Laine's purpose is to help people find it, and then I like to just keep them motivated, because once they find it, it can get overwhelming because they want to do so many things all at once, and that's kind of my problem. And while I'm reprogramming it myself, I feel like I'm trying to help other people do that as well. So I guess that would be my current purpose.
Can you do that then? Yeah, we're doing it.
We're doing it. Is that the Cooper? But yeah, it's been an interesting reprogramming, but I'm getting through it with you guys, and I hope I'm helping.
Yeah. Yeah. All I'm gonna say is that I worked on Project Breathing Life in 2011, and 2013 basically didn't do anything until I came to Shoutout Studios, and then I just got a burst of like re-motivation or re-inspiration to begin it and to recreate it. So I would say that your purpose is very divine, and I am so happy and thankful for you and for what you're doing. So now our next segment, the last segment that we have for tonight's podcast, is the Shoutout segment. So everybody can shout out a few people or some causes that they would like others to know about. And again, I can go ahead and go first. And I did want to shout out Nick Meter, because you mentioned his name, and also he's doing a lot of amazing things as well in Detroit, and he does this thing called Group Process, and he's just really, really special, and he's a really honest, genuine person.
He also helped introduce us to him.
And he did help introduce us to Laine.
True.
I'm not sure if he's watching, but if you are, Nick, I love you. Nick Melnicki as well, because he's not here tonight. And hopefully he'll be here on Thursday. And my last shout out would be to The Giver.
Such a good movie.
That is a really good
We watched so many good movies.
Yeah.
movie. Have you seen The Giver, Laine?
I don't think so. Wait, it's a movie?
Check it out. feel like it'd be up your alley.
It's a movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't feel bad. I usually have no clue when it comes to movies.
Who will go next?
Well, I want to give a shout out to spiritlibrary.com because it's my favorite website for the last like 5 years, and I pretty much go to it every day. And if you're interested in ascension and energy updates, and just like it's pretty much there's like 8 different articles a day from different spiritual authors and stuff, and it's like a wide range of subjects, but it's always like every article you read, you're like, I'm pretty sure they're watching me or something. So I'm gonna post the link in the chat, and there's like a lot of great new articles just posted about the energies of December and the year, and I just want to give a shout out to everyone listening and watching, and I want to give a shout out to 2015 because it's going to be awesome.
Whoa! Fantastic. No.
Actually, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second. I'm gonna give a shout out to the archangels and Silo, and I guess his higher self, because he's been working a lot, and most of the people in the chat know, and I think it's important for any of the viewers to know. He's been working really hard with his channelings and his session work, and he actually asked me if I wanted to just try to go through one with him, and like being partnered in general, like makes it an interesting meeting to say the least. And just in general, he took it very seriously, and the archangels really came through, and it was surprising for even me how strong it was, to the point that I had a candle going and it was flickering so strong, and the frequency was really, really channeled strongly and beautifully, and I wanted to give him a shout out for that, because it's kind of hard for me to tell in person. But for some reason, it's not so easy.
I appreciate it regardless.
So, but yeah, you've been doing good with that. So shout out to you, and God bless you do it.
Woo! Thank you.
And if you guys are interested in getting a session, you should hit him up, because he's doing good work, and I'm proud of him, and I think y'all would benefit from it greatly.
Yeah, hit me up. All right, Laine.
Okay, I have 3 things that I want to shout out. So I'm gonna copy you and shout out Nick too. Nick Meter. We've been working on a project together, and in the probably late spring of 2015, we'll be doing a weekend retreat with a focus on empowerment and liberation in life and business. It'll be held at Song of the Morning Retreat, which is a beautiful yoga community in northern Michigan, and it'll essentially be a mixture of lifestyle and business design, which is what I do, and then Nick's communication and awareness training. We'll be doing exercises that help people get in touch with their core strength and help them work to create a growth mindset, and learn to love failure and all the wonderful things that failure brings to our lives, and also to identify thought patterns that are out of touch with our core and how to combat those through dreams and feelings. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'll be posting more information about that on my Facebook and blog. I'd also like to shout out to a good friend of mine, Veronica Sawyer, who has been helping me a lot lately. She does copywriting and content management, and I founded a creative studio in 2014 that uses its projects to incubate Detroit area freelancers. So we do branding and websites and communications and marketing strategies. And she has been so amazing. I founded the studio, and then she came into my life and has been super, super helpful and right on the ball with stuff. And she's going to be the CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer. And we're really pushing hard to help local entrepreneurs with that project. So I'm really excited about that. And we're about to launch the website in a couple weeks. So you can stay tuned on my professional Facebook page to hear more about that. And the third shout out that I would like to do is a project called SheEO in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. They work with female entrepreneurs to help them stay empowered, and that's a cause that's really true to my heart, because startups is definitely a boys' club, and it was really difficult for me for a while not having any female support, and they have really stepped up to the plate in a lot of ways. And if you are interested in that, you can find them on Facebook as well. SheEO, my friend, a couple of my friends in Toronto are involved heavily in that project, so I'm really happy to see them. They're doing TED Talks and doing they've just released a book and doing some fun stuff, so shout out.
Yeah, beautiful. What did you say?
I think I actually left some of their TED Talks back when I started my business. They just started, like, when did they start, a couple years ago? Or they
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They've been around for like at least a couple years. When I first started, I started actually in like 2011, but really kicked off in like 2012 and started looking into TED Talks. And I remember hearing she.
Oh, cool! That's awesome. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
They're good ladies. Mm-hmm.
Good lady. Beautiful. I believe we're coming to the end here on the Project Bring Me Life podcast, and I would just like to say thank you to our co-hosts Shantastic and Ashton Robertson, and thank you to our special guest Laine Laroche for being here on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a real honor, and especially thank you for everybody who's watching. Even when the video wasn't working and you couldn't get on the podcast, you stayed and you hung in there, and I can't begin to express how happy and thankful I am that you would show that kind of support for us. So everybody watching, thank you very much. So I guess there's nothing left to say unless if anybody had any closing words.
Everybody in the chat loves you, and they all said you're beautiful, and they love your tattoos.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much, everyone.
You look like a little kitty trying to scratch something.
Arr.
It was a fun podcast.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, definitely. So
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. I'm really glad that I got to spend some time with you all, and thank you for everyone who's listening, and please feel free to contact me with any questions at all. I love to help, so talk to you soon. A bientôt.
I don't know what that means, but and most of our links are on her profile here on projectbringmelife.com. You can find her page on the front page. The featured guide. So just click on her picture and it'll go right to her profile and have a little bio and links. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and we will have a podcast this Thursday. It'll be an open podcast, so a lot of room for interaction with you, the viewer. So, aseverto, is that a real word?
No.
I like it.
You made it a word. You're making words all
I
over the
like
place.
Asala, or I don't even know how to say it anymore.
We tried.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
Bye.
I hope they made something good.
It does. It does.
Well, appreciate everybody, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.